They say music is life, so I give them the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast. Turned up the volume, gave them the time of their lives. They said they wanted new artists, I gave them the Cha-Cha Spotlight series. They wanted deep music conversations, I plugged them into the Cha-Cha Let's Talk music series. They are crazy about the hit makers, so I hit them with the Cha-Cha Hit Makers series. And for the albums I know they shouldn't miss, I blessed them with the Cha-Cha Album Review series. I created the Cha-Cha EP compilation series, so they will have a taste of the best of EPs. They should tell their friends. You should let your family know. We should let everyone who cares about African music know. Hafeestonova is back in the game, and you can catch me every Saturday amplifying the African sounds by bringing the best of African music to your ears. I am your musical plug, the creator of the Energy Force, and this is the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Cha-Cha Nation, it is my pleasure to welcome you to another episode of the Cha-Cha Album Review series on the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast. You already know my name is Hafeestonova, and in case you're listening to me for the first time, I am the creator of the Energy Force and your musical plug. Today, I'm not going to be, in the episode alone. I have one of my co-hosts, with me. And there's no need to long talk. Let me just allow him to, introduce himself sharp.
Hello, everyone. Good day. My name is oddFelix. I'm a rapper. I'm a spoken word poet. I'm a podcaster. That's where I'll stop for today.
How you doing, my brother? How you doing today, man?
I'm awesome. And I'm hyped. It's been a while I recorded anything, podcast, music, anything at all. It's been a while. So I'm hyped to be here right now.
Today we'll be doing an album that is under a music, should I say, for those of you that know Hafeestonova, you know that I'm a big, fan of hip hop and rap. And today we'll be reviewing an album that has to do with hip hop and rap. And this album is titled The Militant Mindset, and it's from, music executive known as Kiing Lu. The King is spelled K-I-I-N-G. Yes, and then, Lu, L-U. Now, I'm not going to be doing much of the talking, or Hod is going to be the one doing much of the talking, but let me just quickly give, a run-through of and a quick information about the album, and then, Odd will take it from there. So like I said, the album was released on the 29th of September, 2023. The album features the likes of Layydoe, Skales, Odumodublavck, Killertunes, Dapo, Tuburna, Alphs, Ojini. We have Dremo, you have Eugy, you have P, you have Jeriq, you have Vector, you have Bryan the Mensah, you have Ryan Sean. You have Odunsi the Engine, you have Marvio, and you have, who else am I missing out? Okay, yes, you have Lyandra. Yeah, those are the people that, featured on the album. And the producers that worked on the album, you have Black Culture, you have Mr. Kleb, you have Taye Olusola, and you have Shakez Baba. Those are, the producers, that worked, on the album, and the featured artists that were on the album. So, oddFelix, take us into this album. Let us know what this album is all about.
Okay, so the album is a drill album, and I wasn't expecting a drill album from an African artist. Okay, I don't know who Kiing Lu is. My first introduction to him was this album, thanks to Hafeestonova. And I was supposed to be doing this alone, right? But I asked Hafeestonova to come with me because I'm not familiar with a lot of the artists on the album. I mean, I know Rowlene from Nasty Sis. Nasty Sis, he had a viral song with Rowlene. I can't remember the title right now. I know her from there. I know Reaction from a hit song she had, so that I can't remember. This is how unfamiliar I am with these guys, right? So the only people I know well on this album are Vector, Odumodublavck, Skales, and just a few names here and there. So it's a drill album. The album starts with a spoken word intro, which was, as a spoken word artist, I'm proud that a lot of albums now are bringing this stuff into them. I mean, Joe Boy had that on his album. The last album I reviewed here, had that on it too, and it's like interesting that spoken word is really getting a level of awareness even in Afrobeat. I think it's really beautiful. Yeah, so it's a really short spoken word, right? And Layydoe, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, had beautiful mannerisms, lyrics were right, and that's the only track in the album that's not drill. The rest of the album is drill. Yeah, so Skales impressed me with the singing rapping thing. He's really good at it. He did the song Look at Me. I'm not familiar with the producers, by the way. Let me just put that out there. I don't know any of the producers at all. So I won't even go into them. I'll just focus on the artists and the song. So the first song by Skales is it's a 9/10 for me. It's my favorite song on the album, Look at Me. I tapped save immediately. I listened to that. I couldn't let it go. I'm like, not coming back with some come back. I'm having this now. So Look at Me is easily a favorite by Skales. He did well with the singing and the rapping. The hook is really catchy, and I think it's the hook I remember the most from the album. After that, we have Killertunes and Odumodublavck. Killertunes was on the hook and the first verse, and Odumodu did the second. Personally, I think this is Odumodu's best guest verse ever. Now, in my defense, I haven't listened to a lot of Odumodu before last year, and the only Odumodu I've listened to is his album and the recent features he has been getting, right? So based on that, I would say this is Odumodu's best guest verse. Based on that, I would also rate the song a 9/10, like I already the one Skales did. But I think as far as the album goes, this may be the only two songs that I rated that highly for me. Okay, so Jaye Every Day is the third song, and I wasn't feeling this song as much as I felt the first two songs. I don't believe that the artistic expression on the drill beat was the best it could be, right? Now, even though it was a lead single, I don't know why they would choose this song as a lead single for the album, because to me, this was my least favorite song on the album. So it was probably their favorite song. That's why they released that the lead single. So moving on from that, we have the next song, Shxy. Good Lord, help me with my pronunciations. I'll be all right anyway. Shxy is a great piece. It has
Dremo and even yourself, you don't wound as they call the name of the song. Okay, so the song is titled Shxy, which means you go wound.
Okay. Okay, but I'm really horrible with these titles. But if you just be singing in English because of me, I beg, Nico. The title yourself in English because of me. Okay, so you say Shxy.
Okay. Just continue. They get it.
So Shxy is I don't know. I'm tired of saying they are drill songs, but yeah, these are all great songs, right? So we have. I'll just I may not really talk about the songs in detail anymore. I may just rate them as I move on. So it's a great piece. I'll give it a 7/10. So that means to me, it's a better song than Jaye Every Day, and a worse song than No Apologies and Look at Me. After that, we have How. How is another song I can remember? On the hook, I believe that was Jeriq on the hook, right? That had that rough vocals doing the howling on the hook. The hook really got me. I think that's one of my favorite hooks on the album. And Alpha P, an artist that's doing well for himself, but I'm not really into yet, also did his thing. And this is song I also rate 7/10. When I saw Layydoe and Lyandra on Pay Me, I noticed something about the album. On each track, it's all men or all women. Did you notice that? It's either it's all men or all women. So
I kind of noticed that too. Now, I don't want us to go into, you've already done almost like how many songs already? You've done up to Pay Me, which is like you've done like 6 songs, on the album, telling us what they sound like. And like you rightly said, the album is a drill album. So if you're a fan of rap, then you should know what drill rap means. Let me just quickly pitch it to you like this. I mean, you already mentioned Jaye Every Day is one of those songs that you didn't really connect to, on the album. So if you are to pick, run us through, your top 3 songs on the album and why those songs are your top 3 songs on the album.
Okay, so pull up, look at me, and no apologies are my top 3 favorite songs on the album. How Skales handle the singing rap thing is what makes it my favorite song on the album. It's like it was easily a favorite for me. The hook is catchy, something that could even work on TikTok if you look at it, and the rap is also beautiful, and how they fused together was like perfect. No apologies. I don't know who Killertunes is, but I was tempted to check his profile when I was listening to the song. That's how much the song got to me. And then add it with Odumodu's verse, which I claim is his best. Which I claim is his best among all the ones I've listened to. That's definitely a top song for me. It's a song I also rate 9/10 on the album, by the way. And then Pull Up by Vector, Bryan, and the other name I cannot pronounce. No, Vector doesn't come to play anyway. Vector on the second verse was like epic for me. I loved it. And I couldn't differentiate who was taking the hook from who was in the first verse, but I loved everything I heard in the song, right? So those are my top 3 songs on the album. And then if I'm to take my 3 worst songs on the album, my 3 worst songs on the albums are going to be Jaye Everyday, Sjxy, and How. I know I gave How a beautiful review, how I loved the hook and how I loved the hook and how I loved the other elements of the song. But I don't think it's a better song than Money Dreams, than Pay Me, and what's the other song on the album? The other song I've not yet mentioned yet. So that's basically my top 3 and my worst 3.
Okay. All right. So let's circle out. Let's circle back a little bit to the one of the top 3 songs you spoke about, which is How. No Apologies, the one that features Killertunes, right? And first of all, is it me or do you also notice that Killertunes sounded like Wizkid?
Did I notice that? I don't think I noticed that. Maybe I'll have to listen to it after this.
Maybe you should go back and listen to it. The reason I'm saying so is this, because I know when you mentioned you don't know who Killertunes is, I'm like, know who this guy is, but you don't know saying that the guy. Now why he talk saying don't know the guy? I mean, Killertunes is one of the hottest producer when you talk about music production in the last give or take 5 years in Nigeria. He has worked the light of Two-Face, Olamide. Remember this Olamide? Sorry, did I say Two-Face? I wanted to say Wizkid rather. You remember this Wizkid song that goes Ghetto Love?
Yeah, I know Ghetto Love.
Yes, that was produced by Killertunes. This Olamide song, Moti Elevate. That was also produced by Killertunes. Just to mention some few songs we don't touch upon. So when I was listening to No Apologies, I'm like, I thought this was Killertunes. Why is it now sounding like Wizkid? Then I remembered, Killertunes and Wizkid, they've worked on so many projects together. So probably it's understandable why Killertunes, it sounded like Wizkid. But like you rightly mentioned, for me, that's like my favorite song, on the album. And every other song you've also mentioned, they were also good songs. I think the only song that I didn't probably feel much on the album has to be that, like you rightly said, Sjxy. I don't know, for some reason, I'm not saying the song is a bad song, but compared to every other songs, on the album, that was also one song that I didn't really feel it, per se like that. You're just there. And of course, Look at Me, like you rightly mentioned, by Skales. I mean, listening to that, and you feel like, okay, maybe this was the Skales that was heading to the Grammy that year when it first, came out. And if you had continued like this, maybe we'll have probably been, on the Grammy one day. But I mean, it's incredible to know that. It's incredible to know that Skales can still hold his own when it comes to, rapping and doing it beautiful well, with singing. That was just fantastic. Now, the album has, 10 tracks. And like we said, it's a drill album. Every producer that worked, on the album did their own, parts, and they also, came through. Most of the song was actually produced by, Mr. Kleb, a very, very, respected producer amongst the hip hop community. Is not as popular as you expect him to be. Also, what's his name? Black Culture. Black Culture is also one of the youngest. I don't want to use the word youngest, but it's one of the young hip hop producer that is currently, going fast in the hip hop, community. And Taye Olusola is an agba. Let me use that word. He's an OG when it comes to production. In fact, seeing him working on this album was quite surprising for me, because I never knew that he does hip hop production. I was thinking it was more of into Afro beats and stuff like that. So seeing him work on this album was a good one. Now, you've listened to the album so many times, a couple of times. Now, what will you say? How do I put this now? What is going to be your final take on the album, and also what is going to be your general rating of the album? Is it an album that you say, okay, if you're looking at hip hop albums that have come out so far this year, is it going to be in the top 10 come the end of the year? No matter, the year itself will almost end, right? So is it going to be one of the top hip hop albums in 2023, or it's just one of those albums that, it's just so in there? And then what is the rating of the album going to be?
Have I listened to a lot of hip hop albums this year? I don't think so. But if you are talking of West African hip hop, because I don't know if I should say Nigerian hip hop or Ghanaian hip hop, yes, the album is definitely a top 10 hip hop album for me. It might even be a top 15 general album for me, because I wasn't listening to the album with the mind of I'm listening to a hip hop album, but it was up there for me. It was one of the favorites. It was one of the best things I've listened to in a while. Right? Yeah, so it's definitely a top 10 hip hop album for me, and the top 15 general album. I'm talking about albums from Africa, West Africa. Yeah. General rating of the album, I'm going to put it at an 8. A lot of songs where now what I do is when I was listening to the album, I rated each song individually, right? And I have 3 songs that I rated a 9. I have 3 songs I rated a 7. I have 3 songs I rated an 8 and 1 I rated a 6. So I feel like the average of that should be around 8 or 7 point something. So I'll give the whole album generally an 8.
The reason why I wanted you to do a review of this album was because I actually wanted you to listen to the album, but I didn't know I was going to convince you and say, guy, listen, unless I tell you.
I just brought it to be hot. I just brought it to be hot and I will listen to
it. I'm like, okay, fine. Let me set him up and tell him we are doing the review. And, because I know you are also, you're also a huge fan of hip hop, right? And you're one of those few people that I know that appreciate, what good hip hop sounds like. And when I heard, I'm like, okay, no, Hod has to be the first person I have to share this album with. And then maybe later I'll decide to share with other people. So that was why, that was why I actually, sent it to you and tell you, like, we are going to do this, because, to be honest, for me, it's definitely one of my favorite albums in 2023. And I'm not even talking about hip hop album right now. I'm talking about general albums that I've listened to, in 2023. This is definitely one of the, one of the top 10 albums that I'm listening to. And if we are going to talk of hip hop albums, I'm going to put it in my, in my top 5. And just like, Odd rightly said, he listened to the album, it did an individual, rating of 8 songs. And at the end of the day, it came up with an 8 for the general album. And also for me, from the moment I listened to the first song, which like Odd rightly mentioned was a kind of a spoken word, which was done by, Layydoe, which Layydoe, yeah. Which for obvious reasons, I don't know why. I expected her career to have been quote and unquote beyond what it is right now, because the first time I heard of her was when she featured on Olamide's UI Scooty album. That was the first time I heard of her, and I've been following her up since then. But I don't know, somehow. But again, that's why when I saw her on this album and I saw that she was on 2 tracks, I'm like, okay, fine, this is good. Maybe this will just, propel her career into 2024, right? Because 2023 is almost done. I really want to see her, going places. If we are calling the likes of Thames, if we are calling the like of Arya Star, if we are calling the like of Fave, I want our name to also be mentioned, in that conversation, right? And some of the artists that also worked on this, also got featured on this album, they are not, those popular artists that a lot of us, might know, which was why I kind of liked the album, because you were listening to fresh sound, people you've not really heard before, and you're falling in love with them. for the first time, and it just makes it, very, very beautiful, because there's no bias like, oh, I don't hear this song, that song we do, I know to like or this song we don't do, I know to like they were all fresh sounds, and everything, was really, really, making sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Chacha Nation, we have come to the end of another episode of the Chacha album review series. Or is there anything you want to say before we finally, wrap up?
Oh yeah, I think I've said everything I have to say. It's a beautiful album. It was nice to be here again. I hope to review an album by an artist I am a heavy fan of next time. So I'll have a lot to say about the album and the music. So that's all I have to say, Hafeestonova. Thanks for having me here today.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much for being on the podcast. So like got married with another episode of the Chacha album review series on Chacha Music Review Podcast. My name will always remain Hafeestonova, your musical plug, the creator of the Energy Force. And remember, in whatever you do, keep your energy, keep it 100, and keep it positive. Peace out.
Cha-cha time, two time for the Cha-cha gang. Give me the Cha-cha gang. Rockin' with the best, the Cha-cha gang. Give me the Cha-cha gang. Alayela with Cha-cha gang. Give me the Cha-cha gang. What's in my body, Cha-cha gang. Give me the Cha-cha gang, Cha-cha gang. What's in my body?